Okay, everyone. Doing something a little bit different. Just going back to one of my song title poems. Um, just said I write them, but with no one gives me any feedback on anything, so it's kind of hard to see. Um, if anyone has any requests or just wants to know the deeper meanings behind certain things. I mean, I try to insert relatable scenarios um, about life and with everything. So just if no one's really giving me any feedback, um, that's kind of you kind of want a little bit to kind of um, go on. And just sometimes I hate when I have to kind of ask people over and over again. They kind of deflect, like they got caught in a lie or something. But this one I wrote last year. Just thought I would do something, just to kind of pass the time. But with the passing of Brian Wilson, I figured I would share this one. So obviously it's the Beach Boys. Um, but if I actually read this last year, it was just I call it Young Coastal Men. So if there's one thing about my miserable life that offers some relief, is that I can hear music and discover some kind of message to distract from the pain I feel from living with the heartache of not being what others want me to be. But when I ask you, do you still believe in me? I get nothing from too many. Like the concept of keeping in touch is too much of a burden, and fear that to get anyone to talk to me, sadly, involves a thing or two, say a thing or two, really bad to determine what kind of people surround me not too long ago. While still have a few friends, most aren't of the best quality, and honestly, I don't trust them. So, with a few of my darkest moments of the past to show, I've been without sunshine for a very long time in a bright world, and to feel the warmth of the sun today is often difficult because it quickly fades in very little time, leaving nothing but the awkward chill of reality. But I get around as best as possible to give the impression of being functional in case the tiny winds of change finally blow in my direction. Most days I keep up a fake smile for those around me. I said, but this comes after many tears in the morning. I said, where no one else can notice my pain. I said, making it too easy to shut down and not be prepared for any kind gestures that I regularly slip through. Said from feeling well enough to realize that someone tried to bring a little light into my life, and I wasn't ready. With a shift in emotion after feeling almost nothing said for too long, leaving me feeling worse. Said like being the star of a horrible freak show at the county fair. Even when I try to catch a wave towards happiness, there's no one around to make it appear real for a little while, so I end up sinking to the bottom of the lonely sea. Said where I can't disturb those who can make the best of everything to the point it's nothing but poison. And to said to me watching fun for those just out of reach. It's it said well knowing well they'll walk on by without giving me the briefest of thoughts. It said I guess when it comes and said to happiness, it's finders keepers because no one wants to share it said anything out of the goodness of their hearts since the line between heroes and villains is blurred. It said blurred with the with the poisons born from social media where everyone can brag about their latest custom machine that will become another relic like the old cuckoo clock, only obtained to show others they have things others can't. He said, I can recall a time when I had the chance to escape to the mountains to enjoy the country air without much worry of a passing car ruining the ambient sounds of the wind chimes across the yard. That was rare back home, as too many preferred too many people preferred other sounds to disrupt the blandest of days. So many years later, I'm happy that I let the wind blow to hear the shifting leaves and chimes to remind me that there is just enough time to break away from life to slow down and create newer memories of peace. Most of my life, I thought I was safest in my room because no one would bother me there. Yet I know that it's just a prison with nice things, and having a good time is a demented luxury, as no one cares if I found some way to ease my pain through words, so that the long promised road towards the fleeting chance of a better life will have less bumps. Yet, there isn't a passing said friend on this cruel road desperate enough said to give me some hope, and said to give me said the dismal journey will to the end won't take forever, only be for naught. What really makes me hurt is when I think about the days where I was happy and thought everything in this strange world wasn't so bad because I had more than enough support to face whatever weird challenges lurked around the corner. But it's a different story now because I'm so lonely from having lost too many connections with once good people. I don't know where I belong in the colossal crowd of strangers passing by and said who make me feel very uneasy when I attempt to travel into the unknown. The few people in my life often ask, I said, aren't you glad to have found a job? I said, you enjoy. And this makes me want to puke because they know nothing about feeling hopeless one day and have to do it again for too many days to come with little signs of improvement. Meaning the fires of desire aren't stoked to make me feel appreciated, said, for even my few victories, and when others smile, said, that's not me because it hurts when we're together. And I said, as one can only hold back their dark feelings for so long until the dam breaks and you're seen as nothing but a mistake and no one will provide you shelter for comfort. Even I said, even worse that I as I turned to academia, said since people say you have to be true to your school, it said, but now when I look back, I want to cry. It said because student demonstration time rarely comes, and when it does, not much really happens. As when people, it said, tell me to make it good, there aren't enough rewards to get excited for very long, and once I'm finished saying you're welcome, all I feel is emptiness as I wait for work to end, knowing everything I felt back on graduation was proof I had wasted my time. Said, sometimes it's hard for me to rest because in the still of the night, my mind tries to process everything said that happened during the day, and if slumber finds me, strange things happen in the realm of dreams to serve as a reminder that I'm helpless to do much of anything. And said, in any world, and all I want to do is cry like a small child. Said until my body gives out, and it's even worse. It said if I went to sleep without eating from already feeling so empty that food is just another luxury not meant for me. And even while honey loses its once proud sweetness as the pitter patter of the clock, it said, marches on until dawn signals the next day. I'm sure many of you want to say God only knows what this life is all about, and I want to say various things to show my disgust in thinking because humans because humans ruin everything as this whole world was once beautiful, and yet there is no endless harmony with too much poverty, disease, ignorance, and war to keep us from seeing everything. It said like Hawaii as the lure with a promise said of the glorious afterlife where everything is wonderful by default by another but I'd rather not exist, let alone receive another chance. Amongst all the said chaos and grime, I know there's an answer to life. However, I'm not sure I'm worthy to receive such knowledge. It said, because unless it's guaranteed to wake the world from its slumber, having a tiny glimpse of truth will eat away at you it said, until you join the rest of the vegetables that make up our society, plagued by fear and uncertainty, as the spirit of America and other nations fades away into the gigantic void that surrounds the poor solar system, said that the rest of the universe scarcely knows exist. It said, I really don't like being touched due to trust issues, and the unwelcome make it hard to be still for a long time, said to feel normal, as no one will feel any good vibrations to determine how much work is required to achieve some sense of salvation. So because a young man is gone, and the slow decay said brought on by time creates a new form to move past the summertime blues and through the rest of the year with dear misery at my side, as she knows me too well and sticks by me when others are gone. Like many people in this world, I've said to myself just once in my life, I want to wake up and feel like a failure is said by having one day where nothing goes is said wrong, because wouldn't it be nice to see if life as more than a nightmare with glimpses of joy meant for you to be tormented by as things continue to grow worse with every sour moment that make you say, I said, I just wasn't made for these times. I said, being the decent person is a chore. I said, then let us put our hearts together to keep our humanity alive for those in the dark, searching for the light and can't wait too long for proof that the world isn't beyond saving. Y'all may think these words are just the male ego being offended. However, I assure you I meant everything. Said, and maybe I don't know of a better way to get my feelings out that doesn't sound like an attack on whoever reads this. But in time, it said we take. It said if we take. It said, but it isn't time we take. It said take a little to reconnect with old friends who likely are in need of some compassion. He said because you need a mess of help to stand alone until you make your next decision. Said to go, so where to go next. But please, said never learn not to love, as that is truly a powerful emotion that might be here today, burning very bright, and said, and all but gone tomorrow. All but gone by tomorrow's unkind chill. It said, to most who only catch a glimpse of me, I am so young on the inside, but I feel much older when a few too many days occur without a smile. In the back of my mind are ideas on how to build some new path of glory. So let me wonder for anyone unable to create their own ideas of a life where almost anything can happen. And while you're thinking, let him run as far as his mind will take him. It said, what my heart, mind, and soul needs, most people are waiting for me to return. It said, but it's about time to find the way back towards each other. And until that time comes, I'm waiting for the day in my special way. It said, amongst the messages of songs. But here comes the night, said, to bring me to the edge of old reality and new fantasies, because it's getting a little late and I'm only human who needs a long break before tomorrow. It said, no matter what happens, add some music to your day. It said to keep some sense of rhythm for dull moments while keeping an ear out for a new song that will inspire you to do something so that can change your life if you don't back down from whatever strange sounds that may that make up our crazy world. So yeah, wrote this when work wasn't really going so well, and you know I've been at my this job for about said just shy of 3 years, and there are people I barely know anything about. I know basic, names, maybe a few like tidbits, but nothing like so important that would say, "Hey, it said, have you heard anyone talk about this before?" And I honestly would not be able to say, um, say anything negative about certain people, but there isn't really that much. I would say that is like totally positive. So it's like, I don't really know. It's like don't have that kind of information about certain people, and we have people kind of coming going on staff, so it's kind of hard to form like really serious relationships. Because some people literally show up for a brief amount of time and then you wonder where they went, and it's not like a seasonal thing. And you try to ask them questions, and they just don't. They will never um, by say it's you just don't know anything. I mean, we have people that have to commute several hours when they show up, and to me that's a little kind of absurd. I mean, if you have to drive that far and then you talk about moving, and it's you really don't do anything to get closer in case there's an emergency. It just seems like you're just trying to get farther away. Instead, you're just here as a kind of like as a little side job or like a little hobby, I would say. Now, even though I will let people touch me, there are plenty of people that will try to touch me in ways that do not make me feel. I mean, I once actually almost clocked a coworker because she touched me at the worst possible time, and I didn't know who it was. Like I thought they were just kind of messing with me, and that's kind of a bad thing to kind of think about. Um, when it actually comes back to actually my school days, there really aren't too many people I would actively seek out to say, hey, you want to trade again? And mostly because, my first, set of classmates, they went up their own ways, and they really like pot. Okay, that's not an avenue I really want to go down. They may always say, well, what about, the benefits of CBD? And it's like, yes, but the fact that you have to get it from such a sick source is, kind of an issue for me. And then when I went, to actually get my degree, I don't even know how my classmate even passed. You know, she was infrequently in class, and she, and, they just could, you just could never get a read on them. They were the kind of thing says, "Oh, I got all these health issues," but if you check their Facebook, it's like they pretty much spat in your face. It's like they didn't want to go to school. And even actually, my first massage teacher, I don't trust her anymore. She was fine. You know, you know. So when I first met her, very bubbly, I guess. But she had a couple issues in her life that she kind of put. She wanted to be the center stage. So if someone else had a major issue, I don't know how everything was responded. When I actually kind of texted a couple things, would take like forever. The only time that I kind of got an immediate response when I basically, was kind of like this idea for a stupid class reunion with pretty much, all of our alumni. And I pretty much said, do not contact me. And it was like, oh, do you want to be removed from everything? It's like, no, I just don't really want to go instead of be in a room where people will make me want to harm myself. It's like I'm not gonna, they're gonna basically put on the whole, "Oh, we're so sorry," we said life just got in the way kind of thing, and I'm like, really, you know, said you can pick up a phone and send me a text or an email just as fine as all that. So it's like if I have to, it said I will. It said there's only really like four people in my immediate life that will definitely would not only want to get a massage from, but definitely give them said a pretty good massage in return. Three of them I work, and the other one was my second massage instructor. Everyone else, it just doesn't make me feel right. It's kind of like that weird feeling in your stomach when you remember something awkward, or if you've been on a roller coaster. It's like the very thought of them touching you makes would make your skin crawl. Well, in this case, you can have trigger points that are pretty much already like that. No, it said there are certain lines I will not cross, and I will not, beg people, you know, say, "Hey, can we do this? Can we do this? Can we do this?" I said, if nothing's going to happen, then I'm not going to bother with you. And, it always kind of seems like if someone wants to come back, you know, it's, either by chance, just a chance encounter, or it's like, "Hey, let's do this." And I'm like, no. I've deleted the contacts, and if they ever try to certain people try to contact me again, you know, I just block their number. There's really nothing I really would want, from them. They always said, "Oh, we're going to do this together. We're going to do," I said, "How about we could do this together?" And then nothing. Okay. Even if they have, it's like, it's like, "Oh, didn't you hear about this? Or didn't you hear about this?" And I'm like, no. It's like, I don't do that kind of social media. I am not constantly worrying about someone, tweeting something vaguely interesting or posting something on Facebook in which, they can always make, privatize everything. It's like if you don't have the password or whatever stupid link said that will allow you to do everything, it's like that's instead that just basically means you've chosen who you want to have in your corner, and you've kind of crossed the line with me. So, and I know we all have those kind of things where you just wake up, after something so terrible, like a terrible work week or anything, that you just hope that you can get by. Like if you have like a day off, the very next day you're hoping you can do, certain things that make you happy, or you know, or if if you actually have the few people that actually want to do something with you and can actually will do it, it's one thing for them, and it's like, hey, that's the day, we're doing everything. As while in this case, I don't mind like something a little bit impromptu. I do need a little bit of heads up because one, I might be very tired, from things, and if it's a certain day, I will go donate platelets just because I can. Yeah. Then again, mostly one thing that actually kind of helps after that is that I get to eat certain things my grandparents can't eat. Said either very much of or not very often. It's like I have my own car. It said I can come and go as I please, more or less. Just got to make sure that if I said come home a little bit late, someone's got to hold the cat when I come in. So while there is freedom in my life, I don't really have too many people to share it with. It's like I can share details after the fact, but I really wish I had someone else, at my side to do something with. So, yeah. So I hope everyone has enjoys the rest of your day. In case you haven't noticed, I'm actually in a tent right now. Um, I'm not camping or anything. As you can kind of see, there's some DVDs right behind me. this is just a space I have in my house, and I can't. And the reason why I can't go outside is we have too many bears and skunks, and you never know what's gonna happen, out there. But to be honest, this actually feels pretty good. It's a good amount of circulation is in here, so and I actually sleep pretty comfortably. So hope everyone enjoys everything. Feel free to comment on whatever it is, and I'll see you in the next video.